Let me introduce myself. I'm Philip Shepard. On September 27, 1986, I participated in a hospital-sponsored 150-meter bike charity ride that benefited a lady who had died of kidney failure. This memorial ride was made to commemorate her. On that warm September morning, dry weather was on its way north, so our bike would face a stiff headwind. The 150-meter charity ride has a 12-hour time limit, so everyone must work hard to keep up with the pace. Unfortunately, my life was cut short by a perfect storm. Right after the 300 cyclists left Corpus Christi at daybreak, I jumped deeply into the race, hoping to reach as close to San Antonio as possible before the wind turned. I was having trouble fixing my flat tire, which happened about 45 miles into the trip, when a support car arrived to help. I lost around 25 minutes trying to change the tire. The trip would have to finish unless I really tried to catch up to the bicycles, which were around 4 miles ahead of me, according to the crew inside the car. They told me I had slipped too far behind. As a result, I rode with all my strength. Next, the wind shifted directions. Being alone required me to face the entire burst of wind without shelter. Another issue I experienced was high temperatures of up to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. I remained steadfast in my determination to overtake the group, despite the fact that the extra effort was wearing me out. After another 20 miles, the team directed me to pull over while I was driving north on the highway. I made a gallant effort to keep up with the others, but they had to shorten my journey, they claimed. As we approached the bridge, I dismounted my bike. After everything that had happened over the preceding 65 miles, I was crushed. I recognized I was in a bind at that time. When the wave of excitement subsided, my muscles twitched and my pulse rate dropped. It was as if my life support systems were collapsing around me. The 3 nurses on board understood that my condition was rapidly deteriorating. It was already too late when they suggested that another cyclist help me continue my journey. I lost my balance and slumped on the floor. My life is over, Lord, I reflected as I looked up at the beautiful cumulus clouds that adorned the bright blue sky. Now everything is up to you. Throughout the process, I never felt terrified. Instead, I felt relieved. By participating in activities such as cycling charity, I was able to positively touch the lives of others around me. But deep down, I knew this was a terrible world, and I couldn't have been happier to leave it. My mental state during the near-death experience was essential afterwards, because naysayers had long endeavored to refute my story, claiming that I merely wanted to live, which would explain the hallucination. I may defy their assumptions by proclaiming my desire to leave this dreadful world and my refusal to survive any longer. My subconscious told me I should have been able to vanish into thin air. Something very astonishing happened on the day I died away. Even though I considered myself an eccentric Christian, I never really understood the rationale for my atheistic state of mind while dying. Even when I believed I was going to pass out, my consciousness did not wane. It seemed as if I was developing a super-consciousness, similar to what I'd seen in the hereafter when people who had died connected with me through my memories and experiences. While I was dying, I lay down in the same position as my physical body, with my head propped up and gazing at the clouds. Something went wrong after that. Math is enjoyable for me, but when my experience took place in 1986, I had no concept what quantum physics was. During my voyage from life to death and back again, it looked that I encountered an unusual quantum dilemma. I felt like I was in 2 places at once, my own body and another. It was as if my physical body and spiritual body had become inextricably linked from the moment I died. Throughout my voyage from A to B, I had superconscious ideas that caused me to question my own existence. If I didn't exist, why did they persist? When some unexplained force collided with my composition, It seemed as if my own essence shattered into an infinite stream of vibrational string frequencies, which were then turned into matter particles. I could not find my way around. I was in an imaginary place, going up, down, sideways, here, there, everywhere, and nowhere at the same time, because my dying process temporarily blinded me. I couldn't see anything, even if I was in a bright light or had passed through a tunnel. Most people would be scared by this, but I'm a little unusual. It was ideal in every aspect. Strange and unusual things were happening to me, but I was blissfully unaware of them because I was too preoccupied with watching the complexity unfold and anticipating the next wonderful event. I never worried that I would abruptly vanish. Amazing miracles were happening all around me, but I was too excited to notice. Despite the fact that I was unable to see, speak, or move in that area throughout my journey, I remained unconcerned since I assumed my condition would be temporary. It seems that I would need some time to adjust to this lovely, peaceful atmosphere that I could only envision in my head. By the time they arrived, my subconscious had already recorded their presence. Their concern and compassion for me was so overpowering and unyielding that it wrapped me in a warm hug. As these horrible individuals surrounded me, I had a powerful flood of feelings relating to home, family, and love. It was breathtaking. It would be amazing if everyone experienced such pure affection. By human standards, I am an odd and weird person, so I tried to reassure these nice, loving creatures that I would be fine and wouldn't freak out from all the strange and terrible things that had occurred to me. Unfortunately, I was unable to contact with them. To summarize, I am fearless and open-minded. Then, unexpectedly, these kind individuals began to stoop down and withdraw themselves from me. I was taken aback and feared they'd go into problems as a result. However, as my thoughts turned to their dilemma, I couldn't help but notice the magnificent expressions of awe and wonder on their faces as they bowed. A grand regal figure approached them, and they were all eyes. I felt sorry for my new spiritual friend's family since they saw such a shining example of purity approaching them. However, I was surprised to learn that this immaculate royal was not there to witness their entrance. It swooped down so low that it was within an inch of my face, smiled at me as a concerned father would at his injured child. My senses of smell, taste, sight, and hearing returned, but my emotional condition did not. With a soft grin, this royal figure asked, "My child, why are you here? You are not welcome here right now. I feel forced to return you." As incredible as he was, he sensed my concern and advised me, "Do not be afraid. When you return to Earth and make mistakes, strive to live your life to the fullest and love everyone you meet unconditionally, like my subjects did for you. You should not be worried about how others perceive me. Trust that your tale will have an impact on everyone you meet, and if you ever find yourself in a position to pass judgment, I will gladly do so." Even though my body appeared to be billions of light years away, I could feel this majestic form gently lifting and returning me to it. Returning to Earth made the journey back much more relaxing. After that, I felt as if I had stepped into the clouds above, then into the atmosphere, and then back into my body, where my organs resumed normal function. 3 nurses were feverishly fighting to save my life, and theirs were the first words I heard. I vividly heard the chief nurse remark, "I can't get his pulse, he has no pulse." "Oh my, he's got a pulse now," she exclaimed, her relief filling the air. A gang of enraged, tired riders threw my body onto a trailer. My consciousness faded in and out. The frigid breeze made me shake uncontrollably, because it was not my time to go. I knew I would not die again, so I smiled, crammed on the trailer with a slew of other cyclists. I slept as much as possible. Everyone pressured me to get back on my bike and continue the journey when our trailer was less than 10 miles from our destination, knowing that I would be upset if I didn't. After experiencing the excitement of a lifetime, the finish line that everyone hoped I'd cross appeared insignificant. Wow, getting back into this world is going to be a lot tougher than I anticipated. I said to myself. Finally, I left my body and traveled billions of light years away, because my experience temporarily blinded me. I'm not sure if it occurred in a tunnel or not. I was also reassured by the idea of home, family, and unconditional affection from incredibly loving non-human beings. Without my knowledge or permission, a high-ranking royal decided whether I could stay with them. My return to Earth, where I am now peacefully dwelling, was unavoidable. It would have been good to have the option to stay there, though. Last but not least, the most aggravating aspect of my encounter was that the royal figure never revealed its name to me. All I can do is conjecture that it was Jesus Christ. As a result, I can't say for certain it was him. Perhaps here is where our religious ideas and faith come into play in a near-death experience. Alternatively, maybe that regal person didn't want us to get bogged down in religious dogma. This religious figure may have represented Anubis, Hecate, Odin, Yamra, Jesus, Mithra, Ereshkigal, Seol, and other deities. However, I take comfort in the idea that this royal figure, by whatever name it is known, serves as a link to our Creator. With any luck, my story has piqued your interest, entertained you, and given you the courage to make the most of your limited time on Earth.